जटाटवीगलज्जल प्रवाहपावितस्थले कलेवलं जलम्बितां भुजङ्गतुङ्गमालिका.
Hi friends, this is NJ, host on this channel. So we are going to continue our discussion on the fingernails. A quick recap of all what we have studied so far in the introductory video. These fingernails just kind of act as a protective shield to the concentration of the nerves at the fingertip. These fingernails can grow up to the length of 50 millimeters in a year span. These fingernails are generally made of dead cells, a type of protein known as keratin. So this is somewhat of the same stuff from which the claws of the animals are also made. When it comes to the function of these fingernails, they chiefly tell about three things. They tell about the health prospect, they tell about someone's temperament, they also tell about the physical strength. That is the only reason a good palmist, while doing a comprehensive analysis and looking at someone's health status, would always give attention to the state of the fingernails as well. So we have discussed all of that in the previous video. In this video we are just going to have a detailed discussion on the two major checklists on which the fingernails get judged, which is the color of the nail and the texture of the nail. So when it comes to the color of the nail, I mean to say the color which is found under the skin bed of the fingernail. The ideal state is that it should be matching the color of the palm. So let's say for example, if the color of the palm is pink, which is going to tell you that the person is very optimistic, the person is kind of very easygoing. But at the same time, if the color under the skin bed is of the fingernail is white in color, then this might indicate some kind of dormant heart or circulatory related problem. So when I say white, it would be excessively white, which is we are going to just discuss in the color formations. So this is just going to give you an indication that there might be some threat, some vulnerability from the circulatory system. So that is the kind of significance which color holds. So when it comes to the first category, first is of pink color. So pink is the kind of most desired color which you can expect in someone's skin bed under the fingernail. This just tells about good health, good vitality, good optimism, vitality, person is full of life, and all kind of good signification can be ascribed to the pink color if found under the skin bed of the fingernail. Next comes the red color. Red color just tells about excess of the energy. So a person would not only have good physical strength, person would not only have good endurance, but little bit threat remains in the form of person falling prey to blood pressure, because this is the kind of formation which you would ideally find in the martial arts type, in all those people's hand who have got very prominent inner and the outer mount of the Mars. Their plane of the Mars would remain to be very puffed, very prominent. So it's very ideal state and it's a very ideal formation in the Martian hand that you will find red color of the fingernail. So this is a vulnerability to high blood pressure. Apart from that, the red color just tells about excess of energy, excess of vitality. Next comes the yellow color. When it comes to yellow color, you will find it not exactly yellow, but you will find it little bit of light golden tinge or deep mustard hue kind of formation on the fingernail. So this is an ideal state, an indication that the person is having an excess of bile in his system. Bile, as you know, is an irritant which generally happens whenever the liver is not functioning properly. So there remain to be cases that the person might be very pessimistic, person might have very irritable nature. The more yellowish in color you will find on the fingernail, the more cynical the person's attitude would become. So in any point of time while doing analysis of someone's hand and you have spotted this light golden tinge on deep mustard hue kind of formation on the fingernail, you have to give it proper attention that there might related to be a threat of liver or digestive related system in someone's constitution. Next comes the blue or purple kind of color if you have spotted under someone's fingernail on the skin bed. So what it just tells about that blue color chiefly indicates towards the health related vulnerability, though that is a different thing, that if someone is having a bad health, that is automatically going to affect the temperament of the person, but otherwise blue color straight up indicates towards health related concern. And when it comes to health, it would just indicate towards circulatory related problem. The person might have heart is not pumping blood properly, so you need to look at it from that perspective. And many times what happens is that whenever this blue color becomes too excessively deep under the you at the bottom of your fingernail, start giving it a formation and a look of purple kind of color formation. So this would indicate heightened, kind of vulnerability to, heart related concern. So the person needs to get a proper medical checkup done if you'll find this kind of formation on the fingernail. Next is the white color. White color in any case, as you can see, we are talking about pink is representing, optimism, cheerfulness. Red, the more deep formation of the pink, the color has turned into red, which is indicating excess of vitality, excess of energy. So white color can be looked at from the perspective that either the blood is thin or there is a deficiency of red blood corpuscles. So this is just an indication that the person might be, very unemotional, person is very cold in nature, and always whenever the on the fingernail there is some kind of formation, you need to look at it from the perspective and from the angle of circulatory and heart related functioning as well. So white color just in a nutshell would indicate person being unemotional, person being cold, will not get along as good as the pink and red color formation people goes along with their teammates, with their fellow mates. So this is what the with the white color formation, if you'll find it under the skin bed of your fingernail. Next comes the texture of the nail. The same rule gets applied on the texture of the nail as well. Whenever it comes to checking the state of the texture of the nail, you need to check it in correlation with the overall texture of the palm. So let's say for example, if the palm is indicating is of kind of very soft texture of the skin, just tells about someone being very sensitive, very refined and very kind of sensitive kind of nature. But along with that, the ideal state is that with the sensitive kind of texture, you'll find even the fingernail to be very smooth like silk kind of formation. If the texture would remain to be of medium texture kind formation of the palm, matching fingernail would remain to be little bit of robustness would remain on the texture of the fingernail. And the last is, if you'll find the the palm to be of rough texture, in those cases you'll find the fingernail to be a little bit of grainy kind of formation. But in any case, if there would remain to be any variation, then that remain to be a matter of concern, that remain to be a matter of investigation of someone's overall hand. So the first texture is, let's say for example, if you have found the texture of the fingernail to be of smooth, the first thing which you need to you have to give attention is that the texture of the nail is chiefly going to tell you about the nervous system, the sensitivity, about the nervous system of someone. So the moment you'll find it smooth, it would just indicate that the person is free going, person is not bogged down by too much of the stress, person's nervous system is acting and working in a very efficient way. Next comes when you'll find the fingernail to be of fluted or in a vertical ridges kind of formation. So generally what happens is, whenever it comes to the texture of the nail, you'll either find it to be smooth or you'll find it fluted. So when I say fluted, I mean to say that, let's say for example, this is the fingernail, you'll find it little bit this kind of line kind of formation, little bit of light white light kind of formation, giving it a little bit of brittle kind of look. And in the excessive cases, you will even find a crack on these ridges on these fingernails. So the fluted ridges on the fingernails just tell about heightened nervous tension, heightened nervous activity of the brain. This is a case of someone being vulnerable towards little bit of nervousness, too much of the stress, anxiety. So this is what this fluted vertical ridges indicate. And like the way I have explained in the introductory video, the fingernails, these vertical ridges, if you have spotted on all the fingers, so this would just indicate that the overall constitution of the person is worried. Person is worried for all aspects of the life. But if you have spotted that in individually in particular fingers, then you need to look at it from the perspective of the concerns and worries of that particular finger. As you people know, the index fingers worries are more related to pride, ambition, job, crisis of faith. The middle fingers, concerns chiefly remains about work, security, money. The ring fingers concern mainly remains regarding reputation, artistic frustration, a phase of the heart. And when it comes to little fingers concern and worries, they remain to be related to money, business, family. Same goes with the thumb, where the concern remains to be around someone's will and leadership issues. So just by looking at if those flutes and the vertical ridges have spotted on individual finger, they need to look at it from that perspective. If it has been found over middle finger, then this might give you an indication that they remain to be worried regarding someone's work. If you have spotted over here, there might be worries regarding business, regarding monetary things. So this is what you need to do. While doing a comprehensive analysis, all those things goes down into the funnel down into the conclusion. So fluted and vertical ridges we have discussed. Next come whenever you will find the horizontal ridges. So horizontal ridges is something more complicated and more intense than the vertical ridges. So let's say this kind of vertical horizontal ridge or crack kind of formation you have spotted on this. So first thing is that the indication which you will get is from you have to time these fingernails. So as you know, the overall length of the fingernail is 6 months. So many times what happen is that going from over here, this is going to be the time of just 1 month before, and this would remain to be time, let's say 3 months before that person has come to you, and this would remain to be the time of 6 months before. So if you have spotted this over horizontal ridge over here at the center of the fingernail, so some kind of trauma, serious illness or emotional shock has taken place 3 months of the time, 3 months before the time. So this is how you can see the horizontal ridges. Horizontal ridges just indicate towards, like the way I have said, serious illnesses, emotional shocks and trauma. So, and whichsoever finger you have found, you have to give it proper introspection as basis the concerns and worries of that particular finger. And let's say for example in all those fingers you will find the repeated horizontal ridges. So this is an indication that the person has been repeatedly got affected in the past 6 months of the time. And even in the cases of vertical ridges, many times you will also find that in the excessive cases, what generally happens is that the initial cases you will find the vertical ridges. The more intense form is the nail would start turning brittle. You will find a little bit of cracks in the nail. And in extreme cases, the nail even start getting into concave kind of formation, that it would start jutting out of the skin, coming out of the skin, and curving outwards, in the opposite direction of the fingernail. So let's say for example, if this is the finger, you will find the nail to be something going like this in a concave kind of formation. So that would be an intense and extreme version of the stress and nervous tension. Next is, and the last is, white spots. White spots, if wheresoever you will find on the fingernail, so they are not as intense as the horizontal ridges, but they also represent and indicate towards the same things: worries, anxiety and concerns. And if you have spotted kind of overall white blanket of the there is a different case when you have spotted one white spot, but let's say for example there are a bunch of white spots making it look like a overall white film. So that remains to be a period of sensitivity, that remains to be a matter of serious concern and serious introspection. There might be something very serious which is troubling this person. So this is how analysis is done. These were the 2 checkpoints on the fingernails get judged: the color under the nail and the texture of the nail. In the next video we are going to discuss other verticals of checking the state of the fingernails. I hope you guys found this video informational. For further more updates and notification on palmistry, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.